Oh, look at that. I've got chicken ramen today. Very nice. With my boiled egg. I've got my shrimp. Oh, I'm really, really happy today. Obligatory can of Coke. Very nice. So, I mean, the noodle. Just ask them to turn down the music. Where's everybody gone? End of the month, no money. Right, let's talk about safety. So, travel around the Philippines and people turn around and say to me, do I feel safe? Well, I do, because I come from an era where in my country there was a war in Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, for around 40 years. And I grew up with that in the 70s and 80s, and shootings and bombings and killings and all sorts of stuff. And then, you know, I look outside of that part of it, and in Europe you had the Basque region of northern Spain, where you turn around and you had the separatists of the Basque region wanting independence from Spain. So they were bombing and killing and shooting and stabbing, and that was in the 60s and the 70s and 80s. You can look about that. So it all happens, you know. And you know, back in the 70s, you had the Olympics where Israelis were on German soil were killed, and yeah, wherever you go in the world, and it hasn't changed today. And you know, embassies turn around and say red flag, don't go to those areas. Well, there's wars in Europe, there's wars in Africa, there's wars in Asia, there's wars everywhere, conflict everywhere. But I don't see anybody saying red flag. All I see is red flag on Mindanao when they turn around and say Malawi, Lanao, Zamboanga, Sula, Bansalan, Tawi. Don't go there. And there's lots of bloggers that go there, but they never go there on their own. There's always, in the background, there's a police presence or an army presence, or because people are worried that they're going to get kidnapped. So, me, I travel around the Philippines, but I make sure I don't publicly say where I'm going. And I don't turn around and post a vlog saying, wow, you could live in this beach resort on Samar or Leyte or Luzon or Palawan or in the Philippines, or Samar in the Philippines, for $1,200 a month, and I'm here all on my own. That is just asking for trouble. Asking. Not from anybody specific, but if you're turning around and you're flashing your wealth, $1,000 here is a lot of money. It's 50 grand. So the reason I'm mentioning that today is there was a bomb alert. Yesterday, downtown Antonio. So, when I spoke to Annie this morning about it, her reply was, well, that's because Inday-Sara has made her nomination clear that she's going to run for the presidency, and the political party up north to the political party down south want to discredit what's going on and disrupt that it's not safe, and whatever they turn around and want to turn around and do is going to happen. So Inde's going to run for president. 3 weeks ago there was a guy in Mindanao didn't like his local barangay or local politician, so he fired an RPG into this guy's armor-plated Nissan. These things happen. This is life. Yeah, this is life. You know, it's like sending aeroplanes over to a country and then bombing their nuclear facilities. What's good for one, good for another. There's always a reason why. Is it the right reason? I don't know. Look, I travel. Do I feel safe? I do feel safe. I don't travel with an entourage. I don't travel with 3 or 4 people hanging on to me. I get on a bus, I travel. I get on a jeepney, I travel. There are certain things I don't do. I.e., I don't travel on a jeepney or a taxi after 9 o'clock at night into barangays that I don't know. I don't go into squatters' towns. I watch these vlogs at the moment where people are visiting the under motorway families, hundreds of families living under the motorways in Manila because they can't afford housing. They got children. They tap into the electricity, but would I go there on my own? No. And the reason being is that it's undignified for the people to be seen on a YouTube channel talking about their poverty and that they are where they are within the cultural structure. For me, I look at it and think that's a letdown of the government not looking after the Philippine people. The Philippine people are resorted to living in a squatter's town, or they're living in a drainage or a gutter or a sluice or a cavity between motorways, and they're raising family and children. That does turn around grate on my nerves, yeah, because that's just a failure of humanity and a failure of government to turn around and rectify the issues that they've got within their country. But I've travelled all over the world, and I've travelled into areas that I should never have been in, but I never go with police or armed guards or make myself look, because it's making me a target. You know, they might see you with all these police around it, but those police aren't there all the time when I turn around and travel out of Mawawi or Lake Lanao or Zamboanga and I go to Iligan, or I go to Cagayan de Oro, or I go to Valencia, or I go to Lake Cebu. Then I'm on my own. But that doesn't stop the threat following me. So keep it low, keep your profile hidden. Don't brag, don't show off, but don't, you know, that was... I looked at that guy jumping out of a multi-cab, white multi-cab the other day with an RPG, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you travel around with an RPG in a multi-cab? The multi-cab's a little small thing, and the RPG is small. It's about the same size as the multi-cab. But anyway, it's there. But do I feel safe? Yeah. Did I feel safe on the bus? Yes. Yeah. Do I feel safe when I come out each day? Yes. But there are certain times of the day that, you know, I don't get in a taxi cab at 10 o'clock at night drunk with my wallet, with my mobile phone, because I know that's opening up the doors to risk. Yeah. Am I on a bus? Yeah, I'm on the bus, but I sit at the front of the bus near the bus driver and other people where it's light. I don't sit at the back of the bus where it's dark and dingy and somebody can turn around and rifle through my wallet or do whatever they want to turn around and do. Yeah, be sensible what you're turning around and doing. People go, oh, why don't you fly? Well, I could fly, but the problem with flying for me is that it puts more pressure on my eyes, and that affects my glaucoma and that affects my myopia. So do I want to see the Philippines? Yeah. My eyesight is not brilliant, but I still want to see the Philippines. I still want to see the country. I still want to see what's actually happening, what's changed in 8 years. But I'll post this tonight. I'm not going to be here. So whoever watches this tonight, I'm not here in Udon Noodle. I've moved, I've gone. So I don't sit there and I turn around and say, oh, you could stay in this resort for $1,200. Look at this, it's great. I'm the only one here on the beach for miles and miles and miles. It's so peaceful. Hang on. You're telling everybody you're living there and there's nobody around. Is that opening the door to risk? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. You might have a dog inside your room, but is that dog going to do anything when the dog's in the room and you're outside on the porch, or you're walking around or gone to the Sari? No. There was a guy a couple of years ago that was up in Zamboanga, and he was vlogging and doing stuff, and he upset the local people, and he got shot 6 times and dumped in the sea. Nobody's ever found him, and they're not going to find him. That was an American. A lot of people at that time turned around and said he wasn't clever. He was vlogging to get views, and he was making statements and telling people where he lived. Yeah. So, yeah. Horses for courses. If you're going to travel, keep a low profile. If you're travelling, don't do anything after 9 o'clock at night in dodgy areas that don't have any lights. Don't get in a taxi that takes you a shortcut and all of a sudden you're in a squatter's town and there are more people there that are dodgy than you in your car. Taxi driver won't stop. He'll just turn around and let them do whatever they want to turn around and do. So be careful. Just get some grey cells between your ears. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy my noodles and I'm going to enjoy my chicken. My cough's getting better. I've got to phone the UK tonight. Let's see how that goes.